Finding Your Element summary shows how to find your talents, Ken Robinson, and passions, embrace them, and come up with your own definition of happiness so you can combine what you love with what you are good at to live a long, happy life. These days, anyone whose real strengths lie outside the restricted field of academic work can find being at school a dispiriting experience and emerge from it wondering if they have any significant aptitudes at all. Beautiful. He's the most famous TED Talks of all times and one of the few strong critics of our school systems. Take a second to appreciate your own absolutely unique life. Everything is unknown, so it makes no sense to be afraid of it. Find your hidden talents by looking at what your teachers told you you are bad at. Don't be afraid. Logically following that uniqueness, you would have to think that no human life plays out of in the same way, which would hold true for our work too, right? How come then that the millions of us end up doing the same thing and making the same career choices? That is where one of the most basic yet strongest human fears kicks in, the fear of the unknown. Our brains scream for certainty and reassurance, and the society is happy to offer both of those to us. Follow the plan, it whispers you know a well-established plan, the one where you know how it plays out. Usually that's the finishing high a school at 17, 18, entering college, graduating, getting a professional job in the lawyer, doctor, teacher or manager, then settling down, getting married and starting a family. But since we have been living through the biggest shift in education and work since the Industrial Revolution, the pressure to follow this plan makes us even more uncomfortable. How can you expect humans who have just become adults to commit to plan for the rest of their life in such a uncertain world? It's insane. If you think about it, you never have even the faintest idea of what's going to happen the next time you set foot outside your house. Yet you somehow try to plan the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life. Keynes suggests that instead of fretting your unknown, we should learn to see the potential inside in us. An infinite number of the good things can happen which might reveal opportunities you never could have dreamed of. Ken didn't start writing and speaking until he was well into his 40s. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Everything is, and that's a good thing. Lesson 3. Think about what school told you were bad at again. Are you really? Did you ever get that feedback from the school teachers that you were bad at something? Then why should you stop trying? Or that something you were good at wasn't that valuable? Institutional education is discouraging us a lot more ways than it encourages us, because in school only one kind of intelligence is valued: logical reasoning. Math and science are the top subject of the food chain, followed by languages and humanities like geography, history, politics, with the arts like dance, music, poetry at the very bottom. But not only does the school not drive us towards creative pursuits, it actually drives us away from them, because in the school system mistakes are punished, whereas in reality the only way to do something creative is to do something that might be a mistake. Think back to the school, first grade, third grade, fifth grade. What did the teachers make you believe you were bad at? Do you still believe that today? Why? Was it something you liked? Ask more of these questions and you just might find one of their hidden talents and passions. My personal takeaways. If you ask me, you can't do enough critical thinking and questioning about the educational system these days is falling apart at the seams, with degrees becoming less and less valuable, and thousands of new options of making a living emerging by the day. A highly important book with a highly important topic. Richard Federer is a co-developer of the Index of Learning Styles. He suggests that there are 8 different learning styles. Active learners absorb material best by applying it in some fashion and explaining it to others. Reflective learners prefer to consider the material before doing anything with it. Sensing learners like learning facts and tend to be good with teachers. Intuitive learners like to identify the relationship between things and are comfortable with abstract concepts. Visual learners remember best what they see, while verbal learners do better with written and spoken explanation. Sequential learners like to learn by following a process from one logical step to the next, while global learners tend to make cognitive leaps continuously taking in information until they get it. Wow. Outside of school door, we were often defined by our disabilities. We were handicapped a bit like species. Often, when people have a disability, it's the disability that other people see rather than all the other abilities that coexist with your particular difficulty. It's why we talk about people being disabled rather than having a disability. One of the reasons that people are branded by the disability is that the dominant conception of disability is so narrow, but the limitations of this conception affect everyone in education, not just those who with special needs. These days, anyone whose real strengths lie outside the restricted field of the academic work can find being at school a dispiriting experience and emerge from it wondering if they have any significant aptitudes at all. You create your own life by how you see the world and your place in it. Although mindfulness does not remove the ups and downs of the life, it changes how experience like losing a job, getting a divorce, struggling at home or at school, birth, marriage, illnesses, death, and dying influence you and how they influence the experience. In other words, mindfulness changes your relationship to life. If you're considering earning your living from your element, it's important to bear in mind that you not only have to love what you do, you should also enjoy the culture and the tribes that go with it. Shakespeare Hamlet, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Ultimately, the two most important questions to ask yourself is the search of their passion and are what do you love and why? What do you love about it? As Joseph Campbell says, if you move in the direction of your passion, opportunities tend to appear that you couldn't have imagined and that you wouldn't otherwise there. The quest for your eternal real is really a two-way journey. It is an inward journey and to explore what lies within you, and it's an outer journey to explore the opportunities, the world around you. Many other opportunities you have in your life are generated by the energy you create around you. When you are in your element, you sense a time changes if you are doing something that you love. An hour can feel like 5 minutes. If you're doing something that you do not, 5 minutes can feel like an hour. Find your element. You maybe have a challenge your own beliefs about yourself, whatever you are. You are most certainly developed an inner story about what you can do and what you can't do, what you are good at and what you're not good at. You might be right, of course, but for all the reasons we have discussed, you may be misleading yourself. Part of making sense of where you are now is to understand how you got there. So if you do doubt your aptitude in certain areas, think about these doubts were first formed. Are there other ways of developing them that you would? Whatever your aptitudes, the greatest source of achievement is passion. Aptitude matters, but passion often matters more. If you love doing something, you will be constantly drawn to get better at it. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid. The doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. For example, the richest America, who's earning more than a 10 million annually, reported levels of personal happiness only slightly greater than the choices staff than the office staffs and the blue collar workers they employ. According to one study, almost half of the adults in the United States have little enthusiasm for life and are not actively or productively engaged in the world. There are equally disturbing figures for other countries and regions of the world, from Europe to Asia. Depression is becoming an increasingly serious problem in the United States. For example, prescriptions for antidepressant drugs have risen to by more than 40% in the past 4 years. This is not uniquely British problem. On the contrary, the World Health Organization predicts that the 2020 depression will be the second leading cause of death in the world, affecting 30% of all adults. Many experts believe that depression has become an epidemic. By some estimates, clinical depression is 10 times more likely to torment us than it did centuries ago. African proverb, life is like eating an elephant. You need to do it one mouthful at a time. The myth that money brings you happiness is one of the happiness traps. He says in a study of 792 well-off adults, more than half reported that wealth didn't bring them any more happiness, and half of those with assets greater than 10 million say that money brought more problems than it solved. The organization with a staff that's fully engaged is far more likely to succeed than one with a large portion of the workforce detached, cynical, and uninspired. Resisting the stereotypes of intelligence in education and discovering latent talents can change the course of your life in profound ways. Our individual capacity for happiness is partly inherited, it is part of our biological makeup. We are all shaped to some degree to our own biographies and cultures, and it's easy to believe that what's happened before determines what has to come next. The American poet Ralph Emerson thought otherwise. What lies behind us, and he wrote, and what lies before us are tiny matters to what lies within us. Finding your element is about discovering what lies within you, and in doing so, transforming what lies before us. Before you risk. Principle 2. You create your own life. Whatever your history and circumstances, you should never feel locked in by what has happened to you up to now. It is often said that you cannot change the past, but you can change the future. And so you can, because of your very nature as a human being. Ironically, the so-called social media may also be adding their own pressure. Also, they have far more connections than ever online. Many young people feel they have fewer real friends that they can turn to for actual company and comfort when they need it. Experiments documents that while negative emotions narrow attention, positive emotions, especially joy, make thought patterns far more flexible, creative, and integrative, and efficient. The dance as you walk through life. If you don't dance, for heaven's sake, you don't lift up from the earth. Being in your element is about connecting to the dwelling on the positive feelings, they express and they fulfill your own spiritual energies. One way of discovering the roots of these feelings and finding your element is through the practices of mindfulness. These practices draw on the principles and techniques of meditation that are suggested in Fully Present, the Science, Art, and the Practice of Mindfulness, Susan Simeli and Diana Wusson. Learning to live mindfully does not mean living in a perfect world, but rather living a full and contented life in the world in which both joys and challenges are given. Although mindfulness does not remove the ups and downs of life, it changes our experiences like losing a job, getting a divorce, struggling at home, or a school, birth, marriage, illnesses, death, and dying influence you, and how you influence the experience. In other words, mindfulness changes your relationship to life, finding the keys. The set seed and the first bulbs showing the silence that drinks the deer. The trees are full of handles and hinges. You can make out keyholes, latches in the leaves, but trick and crack in the sun, break open slowly in the spur of the grain. The small change colors of the river bed, that stones of copper, silver, gold. The rock rose in the west ground, finding some way to bloom. The long spell of the birdsong flower all turned to face. The horse sky, nothing stirs. That woody clack of the antlers in yellow and red and many gray for autumn, the dawn died through the amber leaves and the trees of our lantern bloom. The next day, 20 stars smoke in the air turning under a sky of stone and pink fairing, and from the north and the promising growth, the blackbird in the beak. In his beak, the victory of worms, the winged seed of the maple, the lost keys under the ash. If there is no passion in your life, then have you really lived? Find your passion, whatever it may be, become it and let it become you, and you will find great things happen to you because of you. Passion is what moves you, it is what excites you, it is what stimulates you to action. Passion is all about what is going on literally, internally, not externally. And so finding your passion is to find what it is that really moves you. What is passion? Is it surely the becoming of a person? Are you not? For most of our lives, marking time, most of our being is at rest and lived in passion. The body and the spirit seek expression outside of self. Passion is all that is other from self. Sex is only interesting when it releases passion. The more extreme and the more expressed that passion is, the more unbearable is life. Seeing without it, it reminds us that if passion dies or is denied, we are partly dead, and that soon, come what may, we will be wholly so. My smart passion question: is a life with passion and life where you only do things that you like to enjoy? Or is it simply a life spent doing things, whatever they may be unexpected or planned, with enthusiasm, enjoyment, and dare I say it, passion? Is a passion life always a happy life? Or is it a life filled with love and joy, as well as pain and sorrow, with the understanding that love and joy shall be fully indulged, and the acceptance of the joy and the pain will sooner or later pass? When you live with your passion, does it mean you have to be like BBC nature presenter who spent so much of his life sharing his joy on the planet Earth and all the birds, animals, insects, and the planet they're on? Or can you bumble from dead end job to dead end job, but do so with infectious enthusiasm for life that's lighting up the lives of all those that come into contact with? Does living a life with a passion mean lives filled with many smiling faces of friends and family, or can we be lonely but is still dedicated completely to fulfilling our life purpose, even if that purpose is simply to enjoy a solitary life? Do we have to know what a life with passion looks like, what it is and smells like, or can we just be born the wiser, none the wiser, other than aware that we awaken each day and know that we are grateful and ready to go? Should we take the passion test first? The passion test I'm on the how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee with the depth and the breadth of the height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and the ideal grace. I love thee to the level of everyday's most quiet need. By sun and the candle light, I love thee freely as a man strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with a passion put to use. I, in my old griefs and with my childhood faith, I love thee with the love I seem to lose. With my lost sense, I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee after death. Passion poetry, William Blake. Love secret. Never seek to all thy love, love that never told can be. For a gentle wind doth move silently, invisibly. I told my love, I told my love, I told her all my heart, trembling, cool, and ghastly fears, and she did depart. Soon after she was gone from me, a traveller came by silently, invisibly. He took her with a sigh. Passion poems, how will you kiss? Lift up your lips, our lost breath intermingling. Man and the woman about to kiss, synchronize our silence. As lazy hours ease by, waft cocoa, hazelnut, cinnamon scents around me, tremble with me in paralyzing pauses. I may no longer breathe without breathing you. This is not such a... I want to feel passion, I want to feel pain, I want to be, but the sound of your name can make me laugh. Come make me laugh, come make me cry, just make me feel alive. Strange fits of passion have I known, and I will dare to tell, but in the lover's ear alone, what once to me befell. When she loved, look every day fresh as a rose in June, I to her cottage bent my way beneath my evening moon. Upon the moon fixed my eye all over the white lea. With quenching pace my horse drew nigh. Those passed so dear to me, and now we reached the orchard plot, and as we climbed the hill, the sinking moon to the Lucy's court came near and nearer still. In one of those sweet dreams that slept kind nature's gentlest boon, and all the while my eyes I kept on the descending moon. My horse moved on, hoof after hoof. He raced and never stopped, winged down behind the cottage roof. At once the bright moon dropped. What font the wayward thoughts will slide into a lover's head, oh must see. To myself I cried, if Lucy should be dead. Lucy. Strange fits of passion have I known, and I will dare to tell that the next lover's ear alone but once to me befell. What she loved looked every day fresh as a rose in June, and I to her cottage went my way beneath an evening moon. Upon the moon I fixed my eye all over the white sea. With quickening pace my horse drew nigh. Those paths so dear to me, and now she reached. We reached the orchard plot, and as we climbed the hill, the sinking moon to Lucy's court came near and nearer still. In one of those sweet dreams I slept, kind of nature's gentlest boon, and all the while my eyes kept on the descending moon. My horse moved on hoof after hoof. He raced and never stopped, and went down behind the cottage roof. At once a bright moon dropped. What fond and wayward thoughts will slide into a lover's head? Oh mercy, to myself I cried, if Lucy should be dead. She dwelt among the untrodden ways beside the spring of the hour made, from where there none to praise and a very few to love, avoided by a mossy stone. half hidden from their eye, fell as a star when only one is shining in the sky. She lived unknown, a few could know when Lucy ceased to be, but she is in her grave. I know the difference to me. I travel among the unknown men. In lands beyond the sea, nor England did I know till that when love I bore to thee. What love I bore to thee is past that melancholy dream, nor will I quit that show the second time, for still I seem to love thee more and more. Among the mountains did I feel the joy of my desire, and she had cherished turned her veil beside my English fire. The morning showed thy nights concealed, the bowers where Lucy played at thine too. Is the last green field that Lucy's eyes survey. 3 years she grew in sun and shower, then nature set a lovely flower on earth was never so sown. This child I to myself will making so she shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. Myself will to my darling be. Both law and the impulse, and with me the girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven and glade and bower, shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. She shall be supportive as the fawn that wild with glee across the lawn, over up the mountain springs, and hers shall be the breathing palm, and hers the silence and the calm of mute insensitive thing. The floating clouds their stage shall lend to her for her the willow pen, nor shall she fail to see even in the motions of the storm grace that shall moaned be the maiden's form by silent sympathy. The stars of the midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place where revolters dance where their wayward frown, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face. And vital feelings of delight shall rear her form to steadily hide her virgin bosom well. Such thoughts to Lucy I will give, while she and I together live here in this happy den. Then nature shall inspect the work was done. How soon the mind Lucy's race was run, she died and left to me this death. This calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been and nevermore will be. I slumbered in my spirit real. Still I had no human fears. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of the earthly years. No motion has she now, no force she neither hears nor sees, rolled round in the earth. Diurnal goes with rocks and stones and trees. Passion quotes what they say. The more intensely we feel about an idea or goal, the more assuredly the idea buried deep in the subconscious will direct us along the path to its fulfillment. Nothing is so intolerable to a man as being fully at rest without the passion, without business, without entertainment, without care. Death is the only pure, beautiful conclusion of the great passion. I can't imagine a person becoming a success who doesn't give his game of life everything is God. And this is why it's vital, I'm talking to you now, why it's vital to overcome the fear of commitment. Great dancers are not great because of their technique, they are great because of their passion. And most people are other people, their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives are mimicry, their passions quotation. Every civilization is, among other things, an arrangement for domesticating the passion and settling them to do useful work. Passion is universal humanity. Without it, religion, history, romance, and art would be useless. There is no end, there is no beginning, there is only the passion of life. Your your passion are the rudder and the cells of your seafaring soul. If either your cells or the rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift, or else be held in a standstill in the mid-seas for reason ruling. Alone is a force confining, and a passion unsettled. Unattended is the flame that burns its own destruction. Fill your life with as many moments and experiences of joy and passion as you humanly can. Start with one experience and build on it. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. Passion, it lies in all of us, sleeping, waiting, and thaw, and went it unbidden. It is will stir, open the jaws and howl. It speaks to us, guides us, passion rules us all, and we obey. Whatever choice do we have? Passion is the source of all our finest moments. The joy of love, the clarity of hatred, and the ecstasy of grief. It hurts sometimes more than we can bear. It could live, if we could live without passion, maybe we would know some kind of peace, but we would be hollow. Empty rooms, shuttered and dank without passion, we would be truly dead. Chase down your passion like it's the last bus of the night. Actually, aim a little embarrassed to say this. We are a little short of passion codes at the moment. We cannot be sure of having something to live for unless we are willing to die for it. I have no special talents, I'm only passionately curious. Nothing great in the world has ever been accomplished without passion. When natural inclination develops into passionate desire, one advances towards his goal in 7 league boots. Passion is inertia field, the power that comes from focusing on what excites you. Passion is the genesis of genius. The essence of poetry, it's will and passion, love life, engage in it. Give it all you have got, love it with a passion, because life truly does give back many times over, and that put what you put into it. So sit back, relax, and let this free. Wow. Love begins with a smile, grows with a kiss, and ends with a teardrop. Between man and woman, there's no friendship possible. There's passion, enmity, worship, love, but no friendship. Passion can never possess what true love desires. True intimacy, self-giving, and commitment. Love is like pie, natural, irrational, and very important. Like pee. Love is shown in your deeds, not in your words. Love is when you take away the feeling, the passion, the romance, and you find out you still care for that person. Love with us with predictability is very essence of surprise and amazement. To make love a prisoner of the mundane is to take its passion and lose it forever. The pleasure of love is in loving. We are happier in the passion we feel than in the passion we inspire. We always believe our first love is our last, and our last love our first indeed. Love is the flower of life and blossom unexpectedly and without law, and must be plucked where it is found and enjoyed for the brief hour of its duration. Neither lofty degree of intelligence nor imagination nor both together go in the making of the genius. Love, love, love. This is the soul genius. Love is the wisdom of the fool and the folly of the wise. There's only one kind of love, but there are 1,000 imitations. It is a passion that's a kiss that gives to it sweetness. It is affection to a kiss that sanctifies it, that when I hate you, it is because I love you to a point of passion that techniques that unhinges my soul. Love begins with a smile, grows with a kiss, ends with a teardrop. Accept the things to which fate binds you. The love of people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Love is a fire, but whether it's just going to warm your hearth or burn down your house, you can never tell. Waheguru. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love without passion is dreary passion. Without love is horrific. Love is a delusion that one man or woman differs from another. It is wrong to think that love comes from long companionship and persevering courtship. Love is the offspring of spirituality, affinity, and unless that affinity is created in a moment, it will not be created for years or even generation. Love makes the time pass. Time makes love pass. Immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says, I need you because I love you. I have been absolutely terrified every moment of my life, and I've never let it keep me from doing the single thing that I wanted to do. Just don't give up. Just don't give up trying to do what you really want to do. Where there is love and inspiration, I don't think you can go wrong. Far and away the best prize that life offers is a chance to work hard at work worth doing. What's money? A man is success if he gets up in the morning and goes to bed at night, in between does what he wants to do. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. No matter what happens, no matter how far you seem to be away on where you want to be,